in the chat.
Right.
So we are live now. It sounds like, or we're streaming to somewhere, I guess. I don't know if anybody wants to like pop up the YouTube or something to. Okay, so we're doing intros, right? And like, yeah, yo, okay, I guess we're live. Here we go. First ever live stream for us as the Crosschain Crypto Council. What up, everybody?
What up, peeps?
What's up?
Getting some technology upgrades here. We're on StreamYard now, and we're trying to stream live to more folks. So yeah, we'll hope that this will become something that people will tune into. Check us out. We every week, whenever you get a chance, there'll be a lot of recorded stuff too that we'll put out as educational. So
what a good week to get started on our end as well, with crypto week kicking off. Lots of fun things happening on the Hill, and the space really being legitimized. And so, as crypto goes mainstream, as we say here, we're excited to share that information with you today. Maybe have some discussion around it. Talk a little bit about the news and what's happening, but also how you and I can take advantage of all of this for the better, for future generations and for generational wealth. And so I'm Red Pill Rick. These are my buddies. We've been talking about doing these Crypto Council YouTube channels to really bring more unity into the space. We really wanted to get more people involved, educate the beginners that are starting where we started, to be able to showcase how to jump into this space safely and really take advantage of everything. And so with that being said, wanted to give some intros with everybody around here to be able to just give their background before we jump into that discussion.
Heck yeah, and I just want to say real quick, I also just posted this on Twitter so that anybody who wants to join us knows that we're there, and we'll be streaming this all over the place. So yeah, just to follow up with Rick here, I'm Rodrigo. I go by Rod in the Web3 space. Educator is my background, and I moonlight as a stake pool operator, and I'm the founder and co-founder and CEO of DRMZ. And we basically are an educational brand. We focus on Web3 education. We focus on now AI development and a lot of cool stuff. And shout out to DRMZ Stake Pool and all our delegators. We actually minted block number 45 this epoch. So shout out to all our delegators. Y'all make it possible, and we love you. So yeah, that's me. I'm here for the DGen talk right now because the markets are pumping. I'm here for the also, hey, let's look at the market. What's the language of the policy here? How do we actually get to the core issue here? We had some great legislation successes here, and actually we want to talk about some of those criticisms that we have about that like early push and this whole like let's sneak in a CBDC, you know what I'm saying? So okay, we managed to avoid something terrible, it seems. Anyway, I'll pass it on to Polly and to Razo so they can get their intros and we can keep it rocking.
Yeah. Appreciate you, Rod. Polly TV here, of course. Good to be back. It was fun last week, getting a chance to get this thing started and talk. And, of course, this week we got huge news coming out in the Web3 world, these bills, amidst other things like CEOs getting caught at Coldplay concerts and stuff, the classic social medias. We ain't going to touch on that, though. We're going to touch on this stuff that actually matters. And, for me, I've been in VeChain for a few years now, and I'm just really dabbling a bit in other chains. So for me personally, I'm really excited for this conversation to hear, Rod and Razo and Rick, give their thoughts on what these bills mean, and what this could mean for the future of all blockchains, of all Web3, from Bitcoin down to, startups and chains that haven't even been created yet. So looking forward to getting into it and nerding out a little bit for the next hour with you guys.
100%.
Hey, welcome everyone. I'm Razo, and I love charts. I look at charts all day just for fun. Charts to me are like art. So I'm not so great at trading yet, although I'm getting better. Probably just because it's a bull run, so you just go long, right? I mean, everyone thinks they're a trader right now. So I'm doing pretty good right now. But But yeah, I'm obsessed with charts. I love looking at that, and I hope you guys can learn from me at least a couple basic things. Hopefully, your emotions are more sand than mine. But yeah, but also yeah, welcome. This is a really historic week, and crypto just became legit. And I know I have a lot.
Oh, we lost you. We lost you, Razzo.
You're not audible, Razzo.
What a kick in the pants.
I know, right?
Cooking.
He was onto something. He was like, "Nah, you're giving too much alpha, bro. You gotta zit zit."
What about now?
There you go.
You're back. Hey, little troubleshooting live. Let's go.
Sorry, guys. We're newbies, obviously, but what I'm saying is that we're excited for new people to get here. We've been through we've been here for a couple years now. We lost a bunch of money. We've been through the ups. We've been through the downs. We learned a lot of lessons, and we hope to help you guys avoid some of those mistakes that we made, right? So welcome, everyone. I'm so excited.
That's what it's all about. Really, 100%, right? We want to be able to bridge that gap, and be able to give that experience to our audience. Right, we're gonna make mistakes along the way because we were kind of jumping in blind, doing it out of sheer passion. But to be able to be those cautionary signs for some of these people that are jumping in is really the responsibility we take on, in streaming this channel and putting our voices out there to the world, because we understand that this place that we call crypto, the world of crypto and Web3, you could definitely get lost, right? And so for those beginners that are jumping in, we want to help you onboard into the world of crypto safely. We want to give you resources. We want to give you points of reference. We want to go through different vocabulary terms so that you can be able to get familiar with the space and be able to foster community with the rest of the group here, right? Through Paulie and Razzo and DRMZ and Rod, right? Everything that they're doing. We have a lot of different, foots in the door when it comes to our connections in crypto as well, too. And so being able to jump into staking with a pool of degens like us that really believe in the space and the spirit of decentralization is what it's really all about, right? Being able to see the charts like Razzo can see extremely clearly with his lines, right? To be able to time the market, to become a trader and an investor, that two-pronged approach, right? And then being able to facilitate community the way Paulie's so good at doing, being that connector, right? And I feel like us uniting all in this conversation to give you this information is really what we're looking to do here, especially with all the news that's going around here. So without further ado, let's jump into that. Let's jump into a few of the bills. And
well, real quick, I just want to mention this too, Rick, because you mentioned, mistakes that we've made. You guys touched on that. And I think an important thing as we get into this talk about bills and regulation and these regulators looking at it, a big part of, what we're going to see in terms of regulation moving forward is going to be based around what has been learned in crypto over the years, right? Mm-hmm. And that's going to be from multiple things. It's going to be from the mistakes that have been made, the scammers that have been doing things and what they've done, and an amalgamation of lessons that have been learned from people within Web3 that are now some of which are being looked at by these regulators, right? And they're talking with legislators and they're talking with governing bodies, trying to help them understand how are we going to take this Web3 environment, which have always to this point felt like kind of the Wild West, right? And how do we move it forward in a way that there's still that freedom? We're still breaking away from that legacy system, but we're doing it in a way that we can add some safety, some security, some reasonable measures put in place to make sure that, you're free to do whatever you want, but hopefully you're not going to get someone rugging your wallet random. Right. So trying to take the things that have been learned in working with regulators to make sure that we meet that middle ground, right? Where we have that freedom, we got some security too, and a system that that works for as many of us as possible.
100%.
Yeah, absolutely. And on that security and safety thing, I think one thing that I like to fall back on with a group like ours is the variety of exposure that you get to just so many different ecosystems, and in a space that's full of a lot of bullshit and a lot of, you know, garbage that gets masked as, you know, a golden you know, golden dancer is a great reference to like a literary story that I love. But anyway, it's gilded, right? It's gilded, and it's not quite made of anything of substance. But then there are projects that are worth your time. So I think what's cool is, you know, I spend a lot of time focused on the Cardano ecosystem. That's because we run the stake pool, but you know, that was the one that we liked. It's the one that we vibed with as far as the research basis and a lot of the decentralization philosophy. A lot of, you know, to operate a stake pool is to basically pursue that philosophy of decentralization and to support it, to actually, like, you know, mint blocks on the network that we're contributing to decentralization. But then I look at Poly and I go, damn, like Poly's got all the insight in VeChain. And when I look at NFTs on that side, I'm like, bro, I don't even know I'm a degen. I love the artwork. I want to go and buy all kinds of it. But then it turns out rug projects can still have fire art. Like, oh, damn, I shouldn't waste my VeChain, my precious VeChain on these NFTs that don't have a community anymore. And can you CTO stuff? Sure. Different conversation for when the NFT market returns and the crypto, you know, we sort of get towards all the meme coins and the degen stuff. But for now, I know we're talking some legislation. So let's dive into what happened today, if y'all are down.
Right, 100%. And I think that starting with decentralization is a good place because it's the philosophy of what Bitcoin was really built around and what Web3 also is pushing for. All of the communities like us that fall under these tribal coins that we all love, right? We all understand that the vision of all of this is decentralization. And so at the core of this conversation right now is, in fact, centralization, right? You know, because we're seeing the centralized state now adopt this in some way, shape, or form as far as a framework for an infrastructure to move us from fiat paper money to digital. And that is really what's pushing us into this discussion because we value decentralization so much. But we understand that in order for this space to grow and thrive, we also need more capital to come in. And from whom it's going to come, we're starting to see that sovereign nations, big banks, and big business all want to come into this space and now push it. The question is whether it's going to be the vision of a decentralized world that we all, you know and love and hope for. Or will we just get a little bit of a hybrid world of what, you know, we have today with a little bit of the freedom that we're really pushing for? And so I think it's definitely going to be the latter, and we're going to be pushing for, you know, long legislation to get us to the points of freedom that we really are hoping for. But these are definitely the first steps in that direction. And so that's the exciting part, you know, and so it's a double-edged sword a little bit, kind of bittersweet, but still exciting to know that capital's coming, right?
Right. Yeah. And just I mean, I definitely want to hear more thoughts. I just wanted to chime in and say, you know, I was a little surprised they voted, I think it was yesterday or a few days ago, and it was a no, right? And so I think that was something that in the background, Rick and I were talking about. We're like, you know, that's interesting that they voted no. We're all about a yes, but like, what was the reason for the no?
Correct.
And one of them was the attempt to, quote unquote, sneak in a CBDC language that would allow for the creation of a central bank digital currency. And we're not about that life. So we definitely, now understanding the voting, who's voting in what way. I think it was Marjorie Taylor Greene, right? Rick was the only no.
The only no.
And again, it's kind of like, nice. There's someone out there who's representing the genuine voice, and we just have to make it louder. No CBDCs, thank you. You know, yeah. But other thoughts on the legislation, what you guys saw? Would love to dissect.
Well, I know Razzo can talk about it a lot. I
Mhm.
don't know a ton about the bill. I've been going so crazy. I haven't had a chance to look at it a lot. But something, over the last year, as I've thought forward and thinking about how society works, how the government works, how power structures work, I've felt very strongly that crypto was going to take off when the powers that be felt comfortable that they were going to be in a position to
To take
maintain as much of that power as they possibly can.
Yeah.
And I think we're seeing that, right? We're seeing it in them trying to put these things in. They're trying to accumulate Bitcoin. They're trying to do little things,
Mhm.
dragging their feet here and there, trying to make sure that, when it's time to make that transition, we're going to be transitioning right back into as much of that old system as possible.
Mhm.
And it sucks, but it's how things work, right? We know that. It's how, when you have power, people in power fight to maintain it and
Right.
grow. So the idea that we were just going to wake up and we were going to kick the whole system aside and they were, it was kind of, is a little dreamy, right? But I think what we hopefully can see moving forward is, even though they're trying to position themselves, can we make it so that this system still offers us more than the system we had ever could? And
Yes.
over time, can we see that power shift back to the people? Right. I think that's going to be the interesting thing to see. Right. Are the powers that be that are trying to come in and jump in on top and take this one over too gonna maybe um overthink that, oh, they're just going to take this over and it's going to be fine? Are they going to miscalculate this? Right? Are they thinking they're going to get this and they're not going to? I hope so. That'll be great. And it is great, like you guys mentioned, to see some reps trying to step in and stop these, which,
Mhm.
I mean, and let's be honest, Rick, you guys, we know this is a classic thing with bills, right?
Right.
Whether it's they put out a bill, it's 3,000 pages. You vote yes or no. If you say yes, you get all of it. If you get no, you lose all of it. They kind of force the system to just push everything through or say no to all of it. And it's nonsense,
Mhm.
but it's how they do it. And they're trying to do it more with this. So
Yeah.
hopefully we can break away from that, but it's going to be interesting to see as we move forward.
Yeah. I don't know, man. For me, this is a very interesting topic because you see some of the old key players in the world that control most of the world right now entering the crypto space. And I don't think that a lot of people understand what's happening here. And I've been worrying about this stable coin thing since, I don't know, like 2 years now, Rod. When did I say about how I was worried about USDC and all this? Because I realized that they're connected to Circle and I realized that they're connected to BlackRock, right? So
Yeah.
for me, I like, you guys know me, I'm pretty rage against the machine. So this matters. But for you new people, there's two bills. So we have the Clarity Act now, which is going to decide whether a crypto is a commodity or a security. If it's a security, it's going to go to the SEC, and if it's a commodity, it's going to go to the
CFT.
CFTC, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. So that's the one bill, just to create some sort of clarity.
Mhm.
And then the second one is more important to me. It's a stable coin bill, the Genius Act. And the reason that's important to me is because I believe that the stable coin, basically USDC, which is pegged to the US dollar, I think that the stable coin of the it's going to be like the petrodollar of the past. I think that's what the stable coin is going to be in the future. And I think that some key players in America, some bankers and BlackRock have realized this already.
Mhm.
And they realized they couldn't beat Satoshi's creation, Bitcoin, right? Because it was actually truly decentralized and they couldn't shut it down even if they wanted to. And the more they attacked it, the bigger it was going to become.
Mhm.
And to me, I still hold that spirit of, like, F the system. But I feel like the crypto space, of course, we are just humans playing money, and we're happy that BlackRock is here. But I think it's important to understand what's happening because a lot of people are new, and they don't realize how these sneaky people are trying to get back in our world.
Yeah.
And I hope that this, for me, I think that crypto is here to regulate them. I don't think they realize this. I think that this is a Trojan horse. I believe that Bitcoin is just a Trojan horse, and this is just the beginning, because once people realize how this technology works and how decentralized it can be and how we can have all these chains, I don't know if they're ever really going to be able to control everything. But it's interesting to see what's going on here right now.
And to build off of what you said, Razo, like there's those two acts, you know, are just the precipice, right? Where we're at in the conversation. You know, with the new administration coming in, we saw the executive orders right out the gate, which is where all of this kind of rhetoric started, right? He's added the crypto reserve, right? Named 5 cryptos that he wanted to include. Shout out to ADA, Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, and Solana, right? Those 5 were the ones that he declared that we should, you know, potentially be looking at for that. And then in that executive order, put some rhetoric that the United States wouldn't have a central bank digital currency. So that was the impression that, you know, we, the citizens, had already had with the agenda, right? So as they roll out these bills, we're expecting Congress to also align themselves with the executive branch in this way, right? And so as the Senate, you know, threw it over the fence to the House, they noticed that they didn't have enough of the anti-CBDC rhetoric that they wanted. Try to propose it to Senator Johnson, right, to make some amendments, but they said, hey, no, we have to vote on it as is, which is why 12 voted no, you know? And then Trump ended up calling up all 12 of them to the White House, right? And within 24 hours, 11 out of the 12 decided to flip their vote. Right. And the one that did not is the patriot that we hear, right? Marjorie Taylor Greene, coming out and basically telling her exactly the reason why, you know, saying that, hey, we should have this rhetoric of anti-CBDC instituted first, not after the first framework, right? Because it's the biggest part of what we as degens don't want for the future of America. And here's the thing, what they've done is they've actually masked it under the guise of stable coins, under the guise of crypto, right? And that's where this centralized version of crypto is now emerging. Here's the thing, I think you hit it on the head, Razo. When it comes to USDC and all the stable coins, all they are is tokenized US dollars, right? And they're supposed to be stable because we consider the US dollar to be stable, and therefore, you know, we're moving out of these cryptocurrencies into what we would consider stable, right?
Right.
So in that sense, it is really just tokenized dollars, and that's why I've always believed that crypto is actually symbiotic with the US dollar, because we use it as a peg against the volatility that we really want to get out of,
right?
You know, and so that's what the role that I see stable coins playing. I just see more being injected because you're getting that framework from the big banks and governments and companies that now are going to want to start issuing them. Which one will be the one to rule them all? Right. I don't know, but I think USDC is poised to be that. You have XRPs, RLUSD, you got other ones on other chains, right? And that's really just tokenized dollars, though, in the end.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
So it's hard. Securities. Yeah.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah. It's a stable coin, right? Or let's say the dollar's stable, right? But why is it stable? Isn't the dollar down like 11% in value this year? Is it stable because it's only ever compared to its own value?
Correct.
Right. Stable against what is absolutely a great question. I think real quick before we get too far from it, I just wanted to say about the Genius Act. One of the things that I really like and want to highlight is as Rick was just saying regarding the liquidity of assets. This bill, this Genius Act requires issuers of USD peg stablecoins to hold full reserves in liquid assets. So e.g. in dollars or treasury bills, and make monthly public disclosures. So I'm like, that's awesome. Like, that's something that I'm glad Marjorie Taylor Greene spoke up for. I don't know exactly how it ended up making its way in there as the anti-CBDC Surveillance Act. That narrowly passed, but it passed. So things are looking good. Like those of us that know, yeah, CBDC is not so good, or useful in some capacity, like you said, to move liquidity, to serve as an in-between. Now I've got other conversations to bring up here that I think might be a little bit too spicy for the moment, right? But I'm like, why such over reliance on USDC is one of those things. Well, I'm like, who are they exactly, and why should they be the liquidity provider for all the blockchains when they get to choose players, or do they get to choose players? See, I'm stepping in already. I don't want to step in, so pass it on.
But I think we were talking about CBDCs, and if you're a new person in crypto, maybe you don't understand why, to us in crypto that truly understand how this works, why that's like the boogeyman. Because crypto, like money,
why is it? Why is it? Explain it. Why is it the boogeyman?
Well, in my opinion, it's because crypto is a really powerful tool, and it can be used for good or evil. It can literally be used to free us from and decentralized power, or it can be literally used to chain us all. And this is why a CBDC is very important to us, because if it's controlled by a few people, they're going to be able to track everything you do. They'll be able to stop your money or block you from your money, your property. Who knows? But we don't know. But it's just too much power in the hands of a few people. And that's why we need to warn people now about this. And I think that's why they added this, because some people didn't want to vote for it. So they added another bill, I guess, on the side saying no CBDCs. And I think that's why it passed.
Anti-CBDC Surveillance State Act, which bars the Federal Reserve from issuing a central bank digital currency to address privacy and government surveillance concerns. So it's like, let's not give up all control over our finances in too easy a way here. They could just hit the off switch.
I mean, here's the thing. When you look at decentralization, the whole spirit of crypto is about removing middlemen because we don't trust them, right?
Right.
And the reality is, I don't think banks, big government, or big tech, with any of my information or data, let alone my money, right? And money is the great equalizer, right? It's like we all chase money. We all need money. And that's really the scary part, is when you have a checkmate where you can censor someone or freeze their money. Just take the truckers from Canada as an example. You really see the overreach of the centralized state really coming in and regulating in a way where it's like, that's an overreach for sure.
Yeah. I think there's interesting things going on behind the scenes. There's a lot we aren't aware of, and something that I've always felt is going on. Or we all know that the U.S. dollar is, it's the petrodollar, right? It's what everything is based off of. It's the global currency, and we see nations in other parts of the world. We don't got to name names, but they would love to see the U.S. lose that, right? And we hear rumblings of this conglomerate of nations that have been trying to find a way to drop the U.S. dollar and replace it with something different. And we've continued to see the value of the dollar drop. And I'm of the belief that I think crypto actually looks very appealing to the U.S. as an option and an alternative to jump in and get out of this crashing dollar and jump into this new thing to maintain their stronghold before they lose that, right? And I think what we saw today, some of the stuff we saw today, I feel actually kind of makes me feel a little more confident in that. The U.S. is like, you know what, guys, we're in the toilet, right? We're going down. Things are not good. There's this thing over here that all these young people and all these guys are excited about. And holy smokes, what if we get a bunch of this crypto and now that's our money and now we took it over, right? Now we're running Bitcoin. I think that's what their goal is, and they're going to try and make some legislations that make that process a little easier to make it happen. Is what I think.
And for those beginners too, I've been noticing exactly what you're saying, Paulie. Those big conglomerates of the world, right? The BlackRocks, they've been putting all of their funds now into digital assets, and they've been doing it in a couple different ways too. So like, I think a big sidestep that they took was the Bitcoin and the Ethereum ETF, which is just an exchange traded fund. And what it allows you to do is take your 401k or any Roth IRA or money that you have in traditional finance and be able to put it into Bitcoin and Ethereum, right? You wouldn't have self-custody, meaning you wouldn't control your own crypto, but you can take that money, not sell out of it and have to pay capital gains, and just drive it directly into crypto so that you could benefit from the gains of crypto. So a lot of people saw that are glued to traditional finance. They saw that move and they were like, that's something that, could be appealing to me, right? Because this whole idea of taking steps into self-custody becomes this daunting crypto adoption and education that some may not like to embark on, right? And that's really a big hurdle, I think. But once you understand the importance of self-custody and decentralization as a spirit, you'll end up gravitating more towards the wallets and the frameworks that a degen would really, have to have this digital ecosystem to take advantage of these opportunities, right? And that's what I've really noticed is that like these big, businesses now they're floating a lot of money into the crypto space, but doing it through this ETF, which is another way to gain adoption, but is very centralized, right, Razo? And it's not really the vision of what Satoshi Nakamoto had in his white paper right here, right?
Yeah, babe.
The white paper, peer-to-peer, right, is really what he was looking to do. He wanted to make sure that there were no more middlemen or intermediaries that we couldn't trust, right? That would corrupt the system. And so with that being said, this is the vision of what people like us who are crypto enthusiasts are really pushing toward. But we know that we have to work with the system in order to get there, right? And that's where, it takes a little bit of, some back and forth and ebb and flow with Congress. But I think that is the ideal step that's going to solidify the United States as the leader to have that second wave of the petrodollar, even though there's all this rhetoric and talk about the BRICS nations or other nations trying to really take a bite out of it. But if we never lose sight of decentralization, it doesn't matter what centralized blockchains come up. We, the people, are going to be pursuing freedom in that sense, freedom of self-identity, freedom of digital footprint, and freedom of any surveillance that's out there, right? And that's really the vision that I think that we're all pushing towards here, the four of us. And on top of that, we want to really plant that seed in the minds of all of our audience so that they know that this is what they should be pushing towards as well as they kind of embark on this centralized journey of crypto with stable coins and, all the other centralized cryptos that are popping up.
Yeah.
100%. Well said. I definitely am a huge, huge champion of just people understanding what they're getting into. I think one of the things that we have been throwing around actually, and maybe it's a moment to pause and define. I was going to ask at the beginning, you said fiat. And it's one of those words that like we throw it around very loosely. We understand what it means. If you had to explain fiat in just a very, Razo's got the hand up. Let's go with the hand. Razo, explain fiat in a way that people can just understand why we are as cautious as we are about all of this. Like, it's not just like, we don't like this person, so we're not going to like this vote or this legislation. It's not really about that. It's about the deeper fundamentals of the technology and understanding something that is actually a huge difference maker. So yeah, definitely Razo.
I think the way I think about money, I think about it in a scale. Like in the beginning, you have something like gold, which it's a great form of money because the government can't make more of it. And if you borrow some from a bank or someone, it's okay because you can go and mine some more of it out in the world, right? They don't control gold. So gold's out over here, right? And then I would say the worst kind of money is fiat, because they basically
We lost you again.
no way.
It got loud and it dropped out. You might have it might be like Razzo's too loud for us and it just gives up.
God,
I can hear him.
I hear him. I hear him.
I hear me.
That might be Polly, actually.
Uh-oh. I hear you. I think I'm okay. So I'll continue.
Yeah. Keep going. Keep going.
So fiat, I would say, is on the opposite side of the spectrum because money doesn't grow on trees, but it definitely gets printed at the Federal Reserve.
Right.
And the problem with that is that the world's in debt. And even if we paid every single dollar back to them, there will still be the interest on top of that. And that fake money doesn't exist out there. So what does fiat mean? Fiat means fractional reserve system, and it's basically a magic trick. And the only reason it works is because we don't all go to the bank tomorrow asking for our money back. Because what they do is that for every $100 of our hard money that you put in your bank account, they can take that money and multiply by 10. It's like fake money that was created out of debt. And then they can use that money to invest in other things. So they use your money to work for them while they screw you with fees and all that. So that's fiat. And
Beautiful.
that's what I would say.
Okay, very, very good take. I will say, not satisfied with a fundamental what is it? So I think Rick is going to take it next. Let's hear it.
To build upon what Razzo's saying, 100%. Like fiat currency is just paper money, right? And when you think of supply and demand, like Razzo was explaining, he was saying that the Federal Reserve is the one who controls that supply and demand. And because it's paper money that we just in air, that money that we're just printing and printing and printing is actually inflating the supply out here. So the actual rarity of a dollar is not that rare anymore. So what it means is the purchasing power of that dollar will buy us less, right? So that supply and demand is being affected by quantitative easing and the printing of the Federal Reserve. And the real problem with fiat money is that it's not backed by anything. And what I mean by that is in the 70s, Nixon had moved us off of the gold standard, which according to Razzo, it was the best, form of money before all of this, gold, right? And so gold had always backed these dollars, which is what gave them value because they were saying, okay, these dollars are tied to the gold, then these dollars must have the same value as the gold. Once we removed that gold standard, now these dollars were floating in thin air, and it was based off of just sheer faith, right? Like how Razzo was explaining, if we all went back to the bank right now and wanted to take out all of our money, there wouldn't be a sufficient amount because they've created money out of thin air by lending it out further to others so that they can make more money in the process. And this is how the banking system really works. And most people don't know how the banks work. And so when we started jumping into crypto, removing middlemen, we started to see that, wow, in the case of Bitcoin in a proof of works situation, it's the miners that have become the new middlemen. It's the computers that have become the new banks. And we have become our own bank by controlling our own money in our own wallets, being able to transact with one another like Venmo, just without a company in between. And that's what Bitcoin does.
You know why the rich people like inflation? Because they own everything.
Yeah.
So when you own things, the value of it only goes up because the money's value is going down. It's not like your parents' house is worth any more than it was worth 20, 30, 50 years ago. It's just that the money we use is just worth less.
Yes.
So the poor people suffer because it's harder for us to ever buy a house now. It's almost like out of our reach. It's like it's hard for some people, right?
Yep.
But for the rich, it's great because they own all the properties. So their houses are going up more now.
Right. So I kind of want to expand on that a little bit. Oh, hold on. I think Razzo's still going. I can't hear him now. Hold on.
No, I think he stopped.
Okay. My bad. Okay. So I was just saying on that Nixon versus Nixon gold standard thing, right? So 1971, President Richard Nixon appears on television, makes an announcement that he's basically taking us off the gold reserve. He ended what was called the Bretton Woods system, a post-World War II global agreement that had pegged the world currencies to the US dollar. and the dollar at gold at $35 per ounce. So that was the specific thing that he ended. This move was dubbed the Nixon shock and effectively closed the gold window so that no more gold could be exchanged for dollars. So foreign governments could no longer exchange their dollars for US gold. It marked the official end of the gold standard and the birth of modern fiat currency, money backed not by precious metals, but by trust in governments. So this is for me like the ultimate difference maker when I think about fiat. Like when I try to strip it away from all other like sometimes politicized meaning or just highly rhetorical meaning, I'm like, it fundamentally means trust me, bro. It fundamentally means, this is an IOU, and I know how those go. So, okay, before we actually had something backing our finances, it was gold at $35 an ounce. That's so specific. And so post World War II, you have what the situation where post World War II, a lot of the gold was transferred over to the USA for wartime reasons, and the Nazis doing their thing in Germany, moving across the Axis powers, all of that history that is well documented. But that's how the gold got here, basically. And closing this window meant, well, first of all, we can get to why they were closing the window, why they needed to close that window, how they used that gold, or rather misused that gold. And so now how we find ourselves in a situation where we're looking at digital gold and saying, what we really like about this one is that you can't do that to this thing. And so fiat versus digital currencies, what is backing your money? If it's an IOU, if it's a trust me, bro, it's paper money. There's nothing there. If it's backed by digital gold now, there's value there. There's dollar value. There's real institutional support, it seems, as is making its way in more with clarity and transparency here. Rules of conduct, then you're going to have something that incentivizes growing your Bitcoin, growing your other currencies, native currencies that you're a fan of, when they have a utility and a use case. It's like a new system that now incentivizes good behavior without punishing bad behavior necessarily, because you're staking. At least on the Cardano side, it's there's no lockups, there's no it's all native, passive, win-win. Change your mind tomorrow, no big deal. So you're incentivizing good behavior. I know Charles likes to talk about it as like taking us from a situation where like, don't be evil, like can't be evil, and that's what the smart contracts and the blockchain language can give us. It's this sense of security, the sense of trust in a trustless system, right? Trust the code. I'll trust the code. I'll trust the technology. Humans.
You know what a Rothschild said? Permit me to issue and control the money of a nation, and I care not who makes its laws.
Correct.
Yeah, and that's why we hear like we're talking about fiat, and what's the word we focus on now in this environment? DeFi. And that's another one that people hear, the word that you're probably hear a lot. Decentralized finance, right? And Raza, what you're talking about, the controlling of money, and why when you control the money, you control everything. This idea of DeFi is really, I think, what kind of sums up what we're all talking about here, right? This idea of pulling away and eliminating the possibility of what Razo's talking about and what we've seen in society and governments all over the world for so long, and taking that away by saying, no, we're not letting you centralize that money. We're changing that. And I think that's the goal of what we're seeing with crypto.
And if you take Bitcoin, you're seeing Bitcoin is unique in that sense where it has a fixed supply, right? Only 21 million, right? And that's where it started the conversation of, wow, there could be a new way where we're not going to manipulate the supply. And then with alternative currencies, you even get into some tokenomics and some networks that prioritize burning of tokens, which would actually be deflationary, meaning the supply is going down, increasing the value over time.
Right.
And I think that is really the novelty in moving us away from fiat into this DeFi world, because that token economics piece is going to become more of an actual science than like a pseudo science like psychology, right? I really believe that as you throw tokens on top of economics, you now can really be able to front face all of the rules and regulations and everything that the protocol network's going to abide by. And therefore, it's like the Constitution, how Hoskinson was describing it this week. The blockchain literally becomes the Constitution, setting the scene.
Yeah, I like that point made as well. And it's regulatory clarity, right? So now we have a very, maybe an easier path, not a very easy, but an easier path towards just full-on institutional adoption, which is something that in the time that we've been, I think, sort of going out there doing educational stuff, like creating meetups and on the ground, just networking events and things like that. Like you really hear the interest, but that lack of like, I don't know though. Because there's uncertainty, because it wasn't clear what was going to be regulated and what will be classified what. And, it's actually, there's another thing that's coming around right now. I'm sure you've seen it on Twitter. It's a graphic that has the mature assets, right, versus the immature assets.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, yo, hold on. Bitcoin, Ethereum,
Cardano.
Just saying, as far as the mature assets goes, it's an interesting place to be when most of the last cycle was spent really just calling Cardano a ghost chain. It's got no traction. It's all these negativity that we never believed. Hence, we decided to build on it. We set up the stake pool. We've been doing our best to engage community and educate. And we've talked about how that's how Razo and I actually met in San Diego. Just fans of Cardano. That's actually how we met Rick as well, right? Technically, it was fans of Cardano meeting with the crypto heads who were fans of all the other tokens. Like we're really like boom. And then Polly actually same story, because we met at Rare Evo, and I only went there because of Cardano. And I think that's another little moment to shout out an event that's coming up that I think you should all attend.
We'll be there.
Rare Evo. Yeah. Razo's going, I'm going, Polly's going, Rick might go, trying our best. And if the four of us are there, we're definitely
he's going.
A live show. Let's go. We'll do a live stream. Maybe we'll get Uncle Charles on the show. Maybe we'll get some other folks on the show. We definitely just want to make sure that those of you who start to follow us get a good understanding of the ecosystem and what's happening there and why it's a good time to go and network and mingle and learn. But also that's where partnerships happen. That's where some building happens. That's where the camaraderie leads to more. So I've been to, now this will be my third official yearly event for Cardano. It started off as a very Cardano focused thing. There was CNFTCon, then there was NFTLV, Rare Evo. There was a Rare Bloom was the first one that happened, and then there was, anyway, long story short, here we are. Rare Evo 2025 is coming up in August. There is a cool Dev Day and Gov Day pre-show thing. It's like a few days of just digging into the governance of Cardano. So if you're big fans of what we're talking about here as far as legislation, high level language discussions on Web3 constitutions, then that's going to be for you. If you're a D-Rep, if you want to know more about voting on Cardano, etc., show up on those days. And if you are a dev, you want to build, those are the days to just go, and you're going to be mingling and with the builders who are there just to share what they know. And then we get to the fun stuff of the conference itself, and then and the different projects. And so we'll be doing our thing there. So I'm looking forward to seeing many of you there. It's always a good time. I'll be rocking this thing. You'll see me in my cut, my DRMZ cut. ministry cut. You know, we'll definitely make some for here for the Crypto Council. We'll have to have a cool patch.
I'm a crypto convention virgin. I'm excited.
Hey, let's go.
Let's go.
I've only been to XLV when I met Rod. So this will be, and I got to tell you, in the 2 years since I've been, so much has changed. You know, I've been doing so many spaces, meeting so many new people. I feel like this is going to be incredible. Obviously, we're going to see all types of influencers and famous people walking around.
Hey, Polly's an influencer. Stop playing. Polly. When it comes to VeChain, Polly's the guy. I'm just saying.
People know me. It's going to be a good litmus test for me for sure. If I'm walking around and people are asking for pictures, I might my head might be a little bigger when I leave. But in all seriousness, you know, I'm excited. I know we're going to have reps from a lot of different chains. You know, Hedera, XRP. Cardano, you know, VeChain. I'm sure there'll be Bitcoin. I mean, who knows, right? There's going to be people from all over, you know, midnight. I think, you know, it's great to see that we're going to be able to take this cross-chain thing that we're doing now, right? And we're going to be doing for the next couple weeks and then take it on the road and get to actually hang out with a cross-chain environment, an event, and network and talk with people and make content and see what kind of connections we can make, and, you know, maybe guests we can get on, and maybe new people to join the cast. Who knows, right? That's the exciting part of what we got going on now. We're just getting started, and it's only going to get bigger from here. And I think Rare Evo is going to be an awesome opportunity for this group and for all of the chains around us in general.
Yeah. Heck yeah, dude. I can't wait. And Rick, I know you are well versed in events and conferences and all that jazz. This one, I think, is smaller than some of the ETH ones that I'm sure you've seen, and like nowhere near. I don't say that to like diminish the event at all, but like what happened at Bitcoin 2025 is like that was like 30,000 people. I heard it's like ridiculous. Like this will probably be a few thousand.
In the end, it's in Vegas. So
we're having fun.
How good can it be? You know?
Listen, this is where we talk about where DRMZ was at the last one. We were at the craps tables, right?
Yeah,
we
nice.
were out there drinking, party. It's a fun time. You get to network with a lot of cool people, and honestly, this is one moment where I get to kind of just like give some flowers to Charles himself, and I know Paulie knows why. Like Charles does not have to give people the time of day that he gives people, and at these events, he is so generous with his time, like insanely so when you think about by comparison to others.
You think we'll get a picture with him?
Oh yeah, 1000% we'll get a picture.
Oh,
bro, if we had
I gotta go.
Yeah, we'll get a picture for sure. We just have to literally post up, and he makes time. He's very observant about like who, where, what, like try to give everybody time of day. I think ultimately when I hear criticisms of Charles in the Twitter world, I'm like, man, go meet in person, go see the dude out there. He works his ass off for Cardano and for web crypto and for Bitcoin. He's out there and the cross-chain stuff, and he's anyway, great individual, I think, to have out there just talking about this. He was there at the beginning, just educating people on Bitcoin. So talk about trust in a trustless ecosystem. Like, it's not necessarily that I trust him, it's that I see his interests, I see where he's taking things, I see what he wants to happen, and it aligns with a lot of what I want myself.
And when you listen to him, he sounds like a founding father. Like, if you really want a founder that really embodies freedom, I think Charles Hoskinson is definitely the guy.
Well, he's like, helped with Ron Paul's like campaign. He's like a libertarian philosophy in general, right? He's Ron Paul, let's go. Look at Razzo got in the Fed. All right.
It's actually funny, Rod, and I want to bring this in because I noticed this. And I know Cardano and VeChain are different in their fundamentals, right? They do different things, and the founders are different too, right? Sonny and Charles. but in certain ways they're very similar too. They go down rabbit holes when they start talking tech, and they nerd out with Web3. They'll go on for forever. They can get a little spicy if you push them back a little bit in this space. They can get, it can get a little interesting. But they, they're very good at talking about the tech. They care. You can tell they care about the products that they've built, and they're trying to continue to grow. And they're down to earth dudes, right? I think that's what's really cool about it. I mean, Charles is, it's funny seeing him. You get the pictures. He's walking around. He's getting all the cattle daddy media girls getting pictures with him, and he's nerding out, having a good time. And Sonny's just shunning to be. You hang out with him, he'll have a beer with you, and he'll talk about all the UFC and power slap and all the stuff we got going on. So
Paul, got it like that. He's like, we're gonna go have a beer with this guy, founder of VJ.
I got a chance to go to UFC 311 in Los Angeles, and I was able to help set up like a community meet and greet. And Sonny went. He was there hanging out with us, and he's like talking to us about his relationship with Dana White, and talking about conversations they have. Of course, if anyone doesn't know now, Dana White's an official advisor for the V Better DAO. We got the exclusive partnership with Power Slap. You watch, I think tomorrow they got a Power Slap. You'll see VeChain and V Better all over the place. So there's a really cool connection going on there. Sonny talking about he met Trump a couple UFCs ago, and we're joking around, when are we going to get him on the Rogan podcast, because he's kind of he's circling around that group, right? But it's fun in just to pull back a bit. What's cool about Web3, so many things is cool about Web3, but the availability for you to actually interact with people that are in positions that in Web 2 in the regular world you would never have access to, right? Whether it's an NFT project or you name it. Like you got Discords, you've got group chats, you've got spaces, and so many people you have access to ask questions. That is so unique, and that includes CEOs of these blockchains, which I think is such a cool aspect of this, right? Like, how often you walk into a store, you don't even know what country the dude's in, let alone his name or anything. We have a very, very interesting ability to connect with very cool, and let's be honest, powerful people on high levels in a way that you normally don't get, which I love. I think it's a great selling point to blockchain, Web3, this crypto thing we have going. And when you're a part of it, and you're in Cardano, and you see the Charles hanging out in spaces, and you see Sonny interacting with people, getting a little spicy, having fun, it makes it even that much more special.
You may not get that from a Vitalik Buterin.
Ain't everybody, but they're out there. Some of these CEOs, they're down to earth, man. They're fun.
There's a lot of them out there for sure, and I think that it's cool, the ones that really devote time to the space and are out there in the community. And it shows a willingness to like be out there, exposed to the good and bad that people have to throw your way. And that's where Charles, I think, has been very good about like taking the blows, because dude has stood out there to take a beating for all the things that Cardano sometimes was messing up, was out of his control, or like he wasn't directly in charge of it, but he's the face of it all. And now that we've decentralized and we can say with comfortability that we are the face of Cardano, that's an interesting position to be in, because it's like he's also the face of Cardano. But that's where that whole like I'm the CEO of Cardano came from. It was like, well, wait a minute, who is the CEO?
Yeah.
It might just be me. It might be you. It might be you, Hey, if we're all...
It's us.
Yeah, then that's interesting. And I know that we've taken it to heart with the stake pool, and we've set it up as this long-term thing that will be there to support the network. Like, you have to put you have to believe in something, and this is believing in something.
Correct.
and working with it closely. And it's just cool to see, someone like Polly doing the same thing on VeChain. And then, Rick doing the same thing over here, dabbling in like XRP and ETH, right? Razzo's a Cardano, right? Like me. But the thing is, like, we're past the sort of silos, and now we're like, man, how can we just have some fun? I would love nothing more than an NFT or something that we do where like we just have it's all over, across all chains. I think that's what Midnight in a lot of ways is proposing to do. They will be a partner chain to bridge between all of the chains, and I know that there's other bridges and other things, right? Shout out one chain that connected to VeChain, the other
airdrop.
But it's just a little different with the partner chains because you get more of that like support, right? Like Cardano gets security and privacy, but Midnight gets the ultimate like SPO power, that trust factor to now secure its network, right? Cardano hasn't gone down in what, 7-8 years. Like that's no small potatoes. And think about this is the scary part. That only gets, like that sign that's like, this is how many days since we had an incident. That's just going to get wider and wider and wider. And now think about how many epochs has the stake pool been running? How many blocks will have been minted? Like we're going to get into a situation where we'll have like early pools, right? Early, all of that. I'm sure because we categorize that way. We love to do that type of stuff. So anyway, I love that we now have this ecosystem to dabble in and play around in, and it feeds my creativity and my passion. And I see all the same in you guys. So I love that we're here actually doing the thing. I know we talked a long time about doing some cross-chain conversations, but here we are, 2 episodes in, a few hours of non-screen time here, doing the thing. And I could not be happier, honestly. Like we could just chit chat on this stuff. Yeah, passing it on.
Beautiful. I'm actually going to have to step off, guys. I appreciate, this conversation. I appreciate the audience that, has stuck with us up until this point. I have, somewhere to go, as far as I'm a soccer player. So, they need me. But in the end, love you guys. For everyone that's, looking for additional resources, there's always, infographics and a whole bunch of blog posts that I've written on my website at redpillrick.com. And anyone who's looking to onboard into the world of Web3 and crypto safely, I also have the Crypto Red Pill services as well to try to meet you where you're at. And so reach out to me if you're interested. And for everyone else, I'll see you guys soon.
Yo, love it, man. Hell yeah.
So let's call it.
Great space. Yeah, I think we can start to maybe head towards the exit here. And now that we got it going, I'm like, we should just keep it going a little bit. We haven't done one thing that I would like to do. TA. I'd like to know where we're going. So I don't know if you want to pop up the charts there, Razzo, and give us a little something on your analysis of the markets. But
let me see.
You game?
Yeah, but let me
show me some lines. Show me something.
Everything's looking good, man. Let's see. Here it is. I mean, right. It's kind of simple. If we go to the daily, this is Bitcoin, and I'm in the long right now. But it's very simple just because there's no resistance anymore. We're like in price discovery. There's nothing really holding this price down anymore. So I feel like we're gonna be riding this line, and see how we're breaking out of here.
Yeah.
If we can get a 4-hour candle above here, it's probably I think it's gonna break all-time highs again, or maybe it falls back to this yellow line and we do this again. Worst case scenario, I would say if I drag this line to here. That's worst case scenario. If we come back down to, what is that, like 14,000, 114,000.
Okay.
Worst case scenario, but I don't see it going any lower than that, man. I mean, we've been building the support for forever, dude. Since the last one, if you zoom out, like we've been stuck at these levels forever, man.
Talk about foundational support.
No, like I You know how people keep saying that this is like the last pump? I don't know if I believe that just by looking at the charts, because if you look at the dominance, like we just hit this level right here, right? Let me zoom out a little. But we have so much ground to go still. Like the altcoins haven't even popped yet. Like
oh yeah, no, not even close to altcoin season yet.
Well, I guess that would be my question, Razzo. Is
we're here.
Razzo, do you think it's possible now with the news today and some of these other alt chains maybe looking like they're going to get some more play? Do you think we might see some of that Bitcoin money trickle down into some of these alts? Maybe a little bit of a pullback, not in people panicking, but just like, hey, I want to take some of this Bitcoin money that I got and invest it in Cardano or whatever.
Well, ETH I know has been pumping, and if I have studied my cycle pattern
here's
a little, then ETH pumps before the other altcoins, and so
that's BTC. This is ETH.
Soon enough, will we start hearing about the flippening? Is that coming soon?
Look at this line, bro. This is ETH. I had this line since when is this? Monday, June 22nd, 22, like 3 years ago.
Oh dang!
But look, we came, we touched it, we rode it, we came back down, we tried to break it, fake out, and now once ETH gets over here and it's probably gonna come back down and like retest.
See you later.
Boom, see you later. That's it,
Yeah.
alligator. That's ETH. Check out ADA. ADA's about to do the same.
Wait. Do you have okay, so yeah, keep going and I'll ask about a specific pair in a moment.
This is ADA versus BTC, Bitcoin, right? Every time this thing pumps, ADA pumps, because that means that Bitcoin's price is going down against ADA. So it makes more sense to be in ADA.
Right.
And like I've been telling you, when this shit hits this white line, I think I'm gonna sell a lot, if not everything. On my ADA. That's because people are like, I realize. Look, if you think about it, people are looking for a top, right? Like, what's the price? I don't know. I just know that if this thing comes back to this red line, it's time to sell.
Right.
Because look how many times we came here, and then we came here, we built all this support. So the bull run's gonna be over when it comes here. It's time to sell. It's the way you do it. Instead of looking at the price, look at the dominance and like.
Right.
So
yeah,
at least that's my plan. It could change in the future, but that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. Real quick, I'd love to dumb it down for a second and take a moment for new people to maybe could you explain what does the term Bitcoin dominance mean? Can you break that down? I think it'd be good every once in a while to just break down some of these terms that Razzle throws out there, like they're like second grade English. We should what is Bitcoin dominance, Razzle? Can you break that down in a simple form for the peoples?
I think it's just mathematics. It's just like Bitcoin's price divided by the whole all the altcoins. So when you do that, you get these graphs, and as the Bitcoin dominance goes up, that means that Bitcoin, you're better off being in Bitcoin because it's going to make you more money than if you're in an altcoin, as we learned this really painful bull run, right? Like I was buying altcoins because I didn't understand Bitcoin dominance yet. I didn't realize that if Bitcoin was going up, there's no point in buying anything else but Bitcoin. Like that's when you should be a Bitcoin maxi, but Bitcoin maxi should turn into crypto degens right about now. That's what I'm trying to say.
Transform, right?
Dominance is collapsing. Look, we literally just hit this level.
Yeah.
Like it's once it breaks here, it's free fall. That means why you should be in something other than Bitcoin, I would say. You should be on ADA because look at the ADA. So this is ADA versus Bitcoin dominance.
Right.
This is like ADA divided by Bitcoin, and every time it goes up, ADA goes up. So you're better off being in ADA when this starts happening.
What is that sweet spot I see there where that green vertical line meets that white line at the very top? What number is that? No, down. No,
here?
Right there. Yep. What's that spot?
No, but this is dominance. So this is it's like a fraction. You see 0.00.
So this doesn't tell you price. It's telling you
that I couldn't tell you how high in price it's going.
Gotcha.
I just know that when we hit it, whatever price we're at, I think it's time to get out.
$1. Damn it!
Go back into,
No.
go back into Bitcoin at least, right?
Yeah.
But my question is though to myself, I don't really know what happens when this triangle runs out. The way if I zoom back out, does this mean that let's say we're inside this pattern right here, right? And like we're bouncing, right? We're gonna have a bull run. We're probably gonna hit it again, and then we come back down. But at a certain point, does that mean that Cardano just goes lower in price against Bitcoin as we start squeezing in here? Or does that mean that ADA is going to come out of this pattern one day and you're going to be better off being on ADA forever than Bitcoin? Is that what that means?
Interesting.
Right? We're going to find out.
Well, you know what? I think it's hard to predict because up to this point, right? We haven't seen crypto taken seriously, right? We haven't experienced crypto with mainstream adoption. So right now we're operating under traditional crypto finances, right? But it's about to change. Things are about to change. So what we know about charts and things that happen could completely change, right? I mean, so I think it's an interesting question. And I think it's an interesting question because I really don't know if we know what the hell the answer is because we haven't experienced what it's about to become in crypto. We haven't been down this road.
That also seems to be like at least what another two runs into the future. Like it's not going to be immediately that ends up happening. And we know that certain assets are deflationary over time. And I think what will be interesting to be fair here in this context right now is what Midnight then does or allows you to do. Because there will be the 24 billion tokens that are mirrored on Cardano. And so that will mean that you lock up more ADA to have more night on the night network or something along those lines is how it works. The details are iffy, but I know that they play off of each other. So locking up ADA actually does something to the night token and vice versa. So you're talking about scarcity. Well, there's 45 billion ADA. Tokens.
Yeah. And then check this. This is a bull run right here. Whee! And this is the bull run where I got it. So it's total 3. This is all the coins except for I think it's Bitcoin or Ethereum because there's a total 2 and a total 3. I think this is excluding BTC and ETH. So this is all the altcoins, and I had this long because each one of these is a week. So I had this for a long time, right? Look, and we came up here, and then we found support. Now we're going up. So I'm thinking we're gonna hit here at least. But if it's anything like this bull run to this bull run, I mean, because maybe we max out by let's say December, then we're up here, like almost 2 trillion.
Dang.
All the freaking altcoins. That's where we're at, man. If it comes to here, right there, December.
And December, I mean, typically is a high point, correct?
Usually, that's what we were expecting since 3 years ago. We're talking about December 2025. Remember?
Right. Yeah. And it's crazy to kind of have it be so close now. It's just a few months away.
But I feel like is it just me or ever since BlackRock right here, they messed with our whole formula where we thought we were doing these patterns. So we went above all-time highs for the first time ever before the halving. And that got us all excited. We're like, holy crap.
Yeah.
The crypto bull run is so on. We've never broken all-time highs before the halving of Bitcoin, right? But it happened. So it got us all excited. We're like, oh my God, it's happening. And then boom, all of a sudden we crashed again. And then we thought that just everything has been there's all these things that happen that just happened the opposite that used to happen. So I'm thinking we're all thinking December because everyone's been saying that forever. I feel like this could just go on for a while. That's what I'm trying to say with these charts. Like they still have a lot of space to run.
Yeah.
Like I said, this is this is new times, right? Crypto, for the most part, has been a very select group of people. You got Bitcoiners who occasionally dump into the alts and then they go back, and but now we're seeing governments, we're seeing enterprises, we're seeing bigger entities buying up Bitcoin, and people who maybe would have sold their Bitcoin and gone into alts are like, no, I want to see how high this Bitcoin's going to go.
And
it's changed.
And it feels like a lot of people have like PTSD still from this last fucking bear, because it was pretty bad. So people are saying like, oh, Cardano to $5. Like, are you crazy, dude? I think it's gonna go at least to like 8, 9, 10. Like, I'm just hearing like low evaluations because I feel like our spirits have been destroyed, and I just wonder if they're messing with us again. Like, there's probably gonna be a pump and everyone's gonna jump out, and then boom, we're gonna do a second pump. Watch, just to leave everyone behind.
Yeah, no, I think it's an interesting situation to be in, where we had conviction with these smaller tokens. Now the crypto markets are maturing, like we talked about. More institutional support, more regulation, more clarity, more transparency. I think it would be interesting to see a future where Cardano depegs from Bitcoin. I think I like the narrative, though, of Cardano giving utility to Bitcoin even more, because now you're just saying, for those who have been Bitcoin maxis for the longest time and haven't really been able to do too much with it as far as DeFi goes, now you're going to be able to. And I know there's other chains that are doing similar things, so it's like, cool, we have a nice suite of tools that will be able to do this. But there's just something cool about my Bitcoin now being able to power our stake pool. Like the RMZ stake pool will now be powered in part with some Bitcoin, right, as well. Like as that becomes more available, as wallets make it more accessible to hold Bitcoin natively on Cardano. So UTXO bros, I love it. And then of course now we get cool connections here with VeChain, with like One Chain Network, the bridge connecting us as well. And look, it's just getting cooler and cooler to transact. I can't wait until my AI bot can just send some ADA to Poly, but it transforms into VeChain by the time that it gets into his wallet. And we're in a that's in the near future, right? Because we have Babel fees on Cardano. If there's a way for that to be swapped before it gets sent to your VeChain wallet, then definitely Babel fees will be cool. So anyway, so we got some good TA, we got some good conversation on the crypto legislation. Definitely, I think maybe it's time to start heading towards the exit. Anybody want to cover any other main topics? I know I just want to try this out, see what happens. Hold on. Oh, look at that!
Nice.
Steak with dream, steak pool, baby.
I wish. I don't know. Only Thursdays kind of. I feel like we should add a day.
I mean, I'm down to do more. Look,
maybe we should do more half an hour evenings. Like, maybe if it's not all of us, it's okay. Like 2 of us every evening at like 8 or something for an hour, or like something like that. Like half an hour videos.
We could get to a point where we can do stuff more often. I think this is a good starting point, right? Once a week, just to kind of get our feet wet. I mean, my schedule is kind of crazy right now. Rod, I'm sure you're the same. But I'd love to get to a point where we can do something more regularly, whether it's video or maybe we do an X space or something. Pick a day of the week where we want. I know we were talking about that, Rod.
Well, definitely want to make content at Vegas. A lot of content. As much
that's not a question. That's not a question.
The reality here too, though, is that we are able now to do this because we set it all up. So now, whenever you and I want to, Polly, for example, like we could just do this and do a Twitter space that is doubling up as a stream, and like get this content out there for more people that want to come and hang with us. And actually, I'm watching the numbers right now. It looks like we have our highest view count right now that we're close to the exit of the show than we did for most of the show.
I just shared it. I just realized I could share it.
Polly, you should have shared it earlier, my friend.
It's a learning experience, right? Where there's growing pains.
Next time.
People will go back and watch for sure. And I appreciate any of you guys that are listening now. Thank you for listening. We're ironing out the kinks. That was one thing that I wanted to say earlier. A little peek behind the curtain here. We were earlier before this, we're working on getting all our social media platforms all lined up. We got to try and get everything coordinated and trying to get
learning how to use these programs,
figuring this out. I've had to drop out twice because of connection issues. So it's been a learning experience, but we're getting there. Appreciate our boy Jay Chains for giving me some little tidbits. Yeah, it's we'll get to hang out with him in Vegas as well. So we got a lot of fun stuff coming. For those of you that are listening, again, we're ironing them out, but it's going good so far. We're having good conversations, and once we get this thing locked in, Rod, I think we're gonna have some fantastic shows, spaces, content. I know we were looking at some interesting things like a metaverse, maybe. Who knows? Stay tuned for potentially that. I don't know. No promises.
I think maybe like light promises. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of it's already built, by the way. We have all these things pre-made. We get it. The metaverse sort of died a little bit. We'll bring it back when it makes sense. And I think it's kind of cool then to bring in a cross-chain audience. I mean, like, we're going to have the homie Rick is gone. Right? He's mainly repping XRP, VeChain community. Shout out to you guys. Cardano fam, what up? Come join us every Thursday. Bad money fam, come join us every Thursday, right? And what's cool too is like we'll be able to do rewards that are cross-chain in some capacity. So I said I was going to give away some starch. So I wonder if there's a way to do that right now. Like, go like our channel or like subscribe to our YouTube or something. Like, go do this thing and qualify. You know what? Maybe we'll save it for the next one. I'll do a Twitter giveaway though for that starch. Shout out to Starch community. Actually, you know what? Let me see if I can go and show you guys what it looks like, because that would be a cool shout out, and we can actually show how to claim the giveaway right here and now. So let me share my screen. All right. Let's choose Starch Industries. Are you watching the potato deliciousness that is the starch? Is that what you guys can see?
I don't see anything. I see you. I see us.
Hold on. There we go. The starchy deliciousness. So basically what you do, once you get the code, you can just go here to claim your gift code, and you will be able to enter the code and claim your starch. That's pretty much it. So you have to have a Cardano wallet. It's very straightforward. Sign, claim, you're done. So check them out. Starch is awesome. They've got miners. It's a layer 2 for Cardano, and there are very specific stake pools that are part of the Starch community. So Starch pools is what we are called. And of course, here we are, DRMZ Web3, along with some other amazing stake pool homies. You can mint some NFTs, you can mine, you can claim. So check out this potato-themed starchy deliciousness. I think you'll all enjoy it.
Nice. All right.
I love potatoes. They're so good.
Yeah. Anything that is claimable or kind of cool that can be like, obviously go check out the V Better DAO. Anything that you'd like to sort of emphasize here as we go towards the exit?
Yeah, I guess I'll just highlight a few things we got going on. Tomorrow, I'm meeting with the CEO of Chain, who just helped, as you mentioned earlier, Rod, helped build the bridge on VeChain. So really looking forward to talking to him. I helped co-host the big VeChain monthly update space earlier in the week with my man Connor and Jake with the foundation. Got a chance to meet with the Chain CEO. Really cool dude, really down to earth. So I'm really looking forward to talking, tech, getting into the weeds, why was it an issue for VeChain to get this bridge in the first place? What kind of, things did they need to help VeChain figure out to make it happen? Really getting into the technical stuff. And also, doing like what I like to do is just having a cool chit chat and hanging out, vibing a bit. Of course, next week, got a bunch of different shows, as always, many things I'm excited about. And of course, as we mentioned earlier, Rare Evo coming up. Really excited to be doing that with you guys. We got a bunch of awesome people. I already know we're meeting out there. People involved in the V Better DAO. Shout out to my man Pena, involved in the Bubbles D app, where you can earn crypto for drinking out of a sustainable water bottle. Yeah, I think next week would be really good. You know, obviously today we focused a lot on these bills because it's super relevant. I think next week, assuming no crazy updates come out with any news, we'll get a chance to touch a little bit more on what's happening in Cardano and what's happening in VeChain. And I think next week could be a great opportunity to talk more about the V Better DAO and what's going on over there. So we'll touch on that hopefully next week, but just super excited. I think this was a great talk. Really cool to hear your guys' insights on what these bills mean, you know, what this means for crypto moving forward, speculating moving forward, and you know, learning a little bit. I feel like I learned some stuff tonight, so I appreciate you guys. Yeah, that's the part of, you know, this. I've been in crypto for a long time. I'm a networking guy. I'm a community guy. I don't know a lot about the cryptos outside of my bubble, right? And that's a problem. And I'm calling myself out for it. So I'm super happy to be here with you guys to pull myself out of that bubble and learn the way I think we all should be, right? We shouldn't be in our silos. We need to get out there. We need to learn what's going on and connect, because no chain has a monopoly on good people, on good projects, and good ideas. So appreciate you guys again for doing this, and let's get ready to do it again next week. And I'll share the live one to start the show next time.
Let's go. Yeah, we're gonna get better and better and better at this, and can't wait to have guests on, of course, do panels, do interviews, AMA type of stuff. Yeah, we're really gonna dive in. I mean, this is the type of stuff that you and I have done on our Twitter Spaces for a long time. Now we're just on camera. Hey, you can take a look at us. But other than that, no difference, right? We get to just vibe, chit chat, talk crypto, engage with the degen side of things, and actually then it's because we fall back on such like safety, security, actual like precaution that I can say, okay, go dabble in some NFTs and some meme coins if you feel so compelled. I'm never gonna, you know, say no to buying an NFT now, because I'm obviously all about the tech and all about the, you know, the communities that come with it. But there was a time when I was like anti NFTs, so I understand. Like, I get why people are not here for it yet. We're gonna have a market sort of situation where the cryptos will pump first, and then maybe we'll get a return to the NFT markets. I'm not sure. But like you, Pauly, I think I agree. We should talk next week about the V Better DAO. And I think it'd be a great opportunity to pair that with a conversation on Project Catalyst, and just talk about both as situations that can help groups that are looking for support of some kind. Give you some details there about, you know, where to look for information, how you can apply for funding for your project. Even I think here this VeChain Cardano XRP Cardano cross-chain thing that we're looking at is very, I'd even say unique. I haven't seen too many groups really doing exactly this in this way. We're not really pumping stuff. We're just talking about what's happening in the world and trying to ground that in some reality. So thank you guys for joining us. I'm passing it to Razo, see what he's got for us here at the very end. And then I think we're going to call episode 2, man. It was fun. What up, Razo?
Hey, everyone. Thanks for showing up to our show. We just hope we can get better. And I'm the man with the lines. If you want more lines, go to my Twitter. That's all I have so far, at RazoD2012. I'm also working on my channel, where I probably won't be as nice. I'm probably going to get crazier and scream at people. So if you want more of that kind of stuff, then go check out my channel pretty soon here. Bad Money coming to you. And that's it, guys. Let's get out of here. I'm hungry.
Sweet. Yeah. Definitely got to go and take care of my boy. My wife and my daughter are out partying, doing this cool thing for my daughter. My daughter's birthday was in April, but they're out celebrating tonight. They both like dressed up like her favorite. It's a character named Red from the Disney universe. It's like younger characters. Anyway, super good music. I'm gonna say I enjoy it. I listen to it with her. We sing the songs. It's great. So yeah, much love, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Final closing words here on my part. Big fan of everything that's happening in the crypto space right now. More a big fan of the community that we're trying to build ourselves and all the groundwork that we've done for the last few years, whether it's in IRL spaces or digital spaces. I love hearing Polly's spaces. I was in there listening the last few days. Over summer, I have a little more time to actually jump in. Don't always get to come up and speak, but I'm listening. Oh, 1000%. No. It's quality time spent. I'm doing other things. I'm listening. I'm passively just kind of picking up the alpha. I heard you guys talking about staking with the NFTs, right? Where we talked about it briefly in our last episode, and I actually just verified that I already have that NFT and it already is staking. So, we're winning long term. It's early days. VeChain will have its day. Cardano will have its day. It's not yet. You saw that Bitcoin chart against ADA. It's not right now. So get it while you can. NFA. I know what I'm doing because I love ADA. Listen, you saw those lines. They don't lie. Those lines,
time, baby.
You'll come to respect the lines with time. You'll see.
Yeah. And you know what? I like that you show that you're like, I had this line for 2 years already. I've been waiting for this moment right here to happen. So conviction, man. Much respect to my co-hosts. Glad that we're doing this. And man, can't wait for the next one. So shout out to those of you that joined us here a little bit late. Appreciate you. And I hope to see you at the next one.
Love.
Peace. All right, let's get out of here.
Later.
I'm super tall.
I know. I don't even see. We don't even know how to end the show. I see. End stream. Got it.